Why are you laughing?
I could just feel that my guy's like, I've just got the image of Atlas in my head again, man.
Alright, Just Cruising, Season 2, Episode 2. Kevlar Kiss.
Just did that.
Dr. Love.
Sorry.
That's fine.
Peace and love, people.
Today is, I can look forward to that. Let me give you a little life tip. When you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, the best thing for you to do is lunges, mate. That's it. Lunges.
Can I just add to that? Because
Shoot.
it reminds me of something Goggins.
David Goggins.
Yeah, he talks about taking souls. And so it's this concept of like when things get difficult, it's almost like go harder. So he found this way to activate another level of performance when your mind and it feels like it needs to stop and your body feels like it needs to stop. He found that if you can like dig even deeper, it's like you can activate another level. And I wouldn't say that's always healthy. Sometimes it can be very unhealthy. But there are times when I use that. Like, let's say I'm working and I've done a certain number of hours and I'm just physically I feel fatigued. If I listen to that, I'll kind of succumb to that energy. But I find that if I tap in and I just kind of just say like, fuck it, and kind of like almost defy that whole feeling, oftentimes I can activate like another gear. It's almost like when you're fighting or you're sparring and your body starts to feel like it's finished, and then you tap in and you find that second wind or that third wind. And it sounds like that's what you're suggesting almost with the lunges.
It is similar.
Is it the same kind of thing?
Same kind of things. Like when the world's on your shoulders, when you feel when you feel pulled down and pushed down, when you feel like you have too much on your shoulders, keep going. Go harder. Squat down. Dig. You're right. You're absolutely, positively right. Yeah. All right. So today's episode. Today's episode. The episode for today is emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Emotional intelligence, right?
Emotional intelligence.
Like that Lenny Henry skit with him being the perverted old man. When the emotions come in and he play into the way, I want to heave my things into your garden. I want to dig around your bush, Anyway. It's Lenny Henry, man. Classic. Alright, so today's topic is emotional intelligence. Yes, this is what Dr. Love wanted to discuss. I like this though. Sir, what would you say? Okay. Why emotional intelligence?
Good. I thought you were going to ask what do I think emotional intelligence is.
You can start with that. I don't mind.
I'll start with answering why actually.
Okay.
Why? Because I'm blessed to have examples of emotional intelligence in my circle. Yourself, for example, some of my friends, associates,
colleagues,
some in my circle.
However,
bum chums, fucking hell. But that's some primary school shit. That's your bum chums, your pals, your besties,
super friends.
My super friends. I like that.
Dude.
Might bring that back.
I know, right?
However, I'm seeing a lot of examples of emotional immaturity.
Right.
Like a lot of people just flying off the handle, not being in control of their emotions. And so I wanted to discuss it because it seems to me that this is happening more and more. I think people are more in this feel place and less rational. So that's why I wanted to talk about this.
Would you say the opposite of emotional intelligence is emotional stupidity? Anyway.
I actually posed this question on
yesterday.
On Facebook, and someone said emotional stupidity, which you know what? I don't know why I didn't I just assumed actually emotional immaturity is the opposite, but actually emotional stupidity is probably the perfect opposite.
It's actually emotional ignorance. I'll explain why in a minute. So, what would you?
Emotional stupidity. I don't know why that's so funny to me. That's perfect. So go ahead. That's what I'm gonna start saying. Anyway.
You are emotionally stupid, idiot. See yourself.
See yourself.
Jamajantis.
Have a word, mate. Have a word with yourself. What's going on?
Listen, when I get older, I want to be that person. I said, call him to my office. Look at you, idiot. You're emotionally stupid at your age. It's a 2-year-old, mate.
Idiots. Oh, brother.
Your mates are in nursery. Look at you. Your mother's milk.
Oh, God.
Alright, let's get back to business. Alright, so what would you suggest? What do you think emotional intelligence is?
What do I think emotional intelligence is?
Yes, please. What is your
God.
definition, if you can define it? I know, because
I didn't think about this before the talk because I want this to be as fresh as possible, and I like
unscripted.
Do you know what I mean? It's unscripted, so I try not to focus on the stuff we're going to talk about. I like fleshing it out in real time.
That's fine, bro.
So I would say emotional intelligence.
In your sights, don't worry.
From my perspective, first and foremost, is responsibility for your emotions. So the opposite or the antithesis of that to me is this whole you made me angry, you made me this, you made me that, you made me
remember that one.
The other.
I'll help you on. Hold that, you made me.
Yeah?
Hold that, I got you. I'm listening, sorry.
Yeah, so I think that's really, really key because I think oftentimes when something happens and it triggers an emotion in a person, even if that emotion that is triggered is a valid response or reaction to what's happened. Even, let's say someone does something which you're perfectly justified in being angry at. Whatever emotion you feel, it's still your responsibility to manage that emotion, and it's still your responsibility what you do or don't do based on what that emotion is. Do you know what I mean? This whole thing of like, oh, you upset me, or the kind of latest one is like, you've offended me. That everyone's offended now, and it's like, you're responsible for me having this reaction, and it's like,
everyone should be offended. Everyone should, because you need to be offended. You need to not like things to make your own personal change. You need to not like where you are going in life for you to have an observation of the ability to change. There needs to be that absolutely, positively. Right. Emotional intelligence. I like your definition. As my own perspective, generally, emotional intelligence is the most unspoken about level of intelligence or intellect. So I've got to give the examples before I give.
That's why I want to have this conversation, because I think it's so important we have this because we're emotional creatures.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk about this.
There's mathematical intelligence, scientific intelligence, there are physical intelligence, there are other kinds
verbal
of
intelligence,
verbal intellect,
musical,
every kind of intellect.
Yeah, sure.
But we do not discuss emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is basically, here's what it is. Emotional intelligence is the ability to feel and have emotions, but be able to master, to understand, control that emotion and know when and where to use it.
Oh, that was chef's kiss. Say that again, brother. That was perfect.
Rewind the tape. Because I'm rewind it.
Yeah, you freestyling. It's not like you're gonna say the same word for word, but that was beautiful.
That's what it is.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
That's emotional intelligence. This is why I say the opposite of that is emotional ignorance.
Man.
Does that make sense? So it's not stability, but it's actually emotional ignorance. With emotional intelligence, key factors, very important, is you are allowed to feel. It's okay for you to actually feel. You need
And it's
to.
inevitable.
Every emotion out there makes you human. You're going to feel. I call it the rainbow colors of emotions. Why am I saying colors? Because just imagine every color is an emotion. You are not the color blue. You are the rainbow. You get angry. You're happy. You're upset. You are elated. You go through every single emotion like every other human being does. But wait, you go through a different emotion on a different level. So my happy and your happy is different color.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different shade of blue.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense? My angry and your angry is a different shade of red. Make sense? My envy or my jealousy and your jealousy is a different shade of green. Still green, but mine might be more intense than yours is. Does not mean yours does not exist. You just have a level of showing it in a different way. You need to feel all these things like human beings do, but here's the situation. What I call it emotional ignorance, because we as a society, as a people, as a generation or generations, have not been emotionally educated. We need emotional education.
Big time.
People have got to go, okay, this is what I feel, this is how it feels like, no problem. I'm not going to lead
with that
on my first emotion. Mm-hmm. Feel it. Feel how you feel, as you should feel. But guess what? Acting on impulse shows emotional ignorance. That's what it is. So the moment I feel something, I lash out. That's actually emotional ignorance. Yes, there's immaturity, but it's actually ignorance as well, because you are unaware of the fact, you are ignorant of the fact that you're supposed to feel that, but you are supposed to learn how to master your emotions, not let your emotions master you.
You know, one of the things I love about what you said in terms of emotional ignorance is there's more empathy to that than saying emotional stupidity, right?
Yes.
If I say stupidity, I was like, oh, you was dumbass. But if I say emotional ignorance, it's highlighting your lack of understanding
of the situation,
and that's what I see. And so the number one reason why I'm bringing this up is because I've had so many examples of it in my own personal life, especially in the last month or so, of people just losing it, and most of them have been men. Interestingly,
right. Here's what it is, right?
Most of it's been men, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it.
Let me interfere. Sorry.
No, go ahead. There's a couple of examples I'm going to share later, but go ahead.
You've always experienced it, but you've not actually realized it until lately. It has been around you all your life, but it's not until you got to your own level of greater emotional intelligence you started to see emotional ignorance a lot more.
I seem to be triggering people all the time lately.
Boss level. You say, okay, that's part of it. So this happens a lot. When you, as an individual, start to understand emotional intelligence, basically meaning for that level of intelligence, you actually practice it, whether you know or not. So once you start to practice emotional intelligence, what tends to happen is those around you who are emotionally ignorant tend to dislike the fact that you are doing this. Now, here's how. It's mostly unconscious.
It's subconscious.
Unconscious, subconscious. Mostly like this. So, when a person comes at you for no reason and starts to insult you, banter with you without your permission or without your awareness, or without you basically collaborating with it, you make them force themselves to look at themselves for what they are and what they are not. So people don't just dislike you just because you are David. There's something about you that you are doing for yourself that it makes them look within themselves and go, hold on, I haven't done this by myself. So in you being a better version of yesterday, you've now made somebody dislike their own today, because it makes them go, oh, this person is doing so good, and I hate myself for procrastinating and not doing what needs to be done. But instead of me admitting that for myself, I would take it out on you. Hence why sometimes for no reason people just lash out at you for no reason, because you remind them of what they're supposed to be and they don't like it. Every other person that sits at home from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. wasting those hours, they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing, but they always say that, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do tomorrow. When tomorrow comes, which is 10 years later, and they're in the same place they were 10 years ago, and they see you 10 years later on an entirely different level, what do? They hate you. Why? Just because. And you've done nothing to them. They're just upset with the fact that they lack the ability to actually push further. That's a part of emotional intelligence. That little part of it. When in actual fact, once they felt that emotion, they could have actually just sat back and go, hold on, I'm feeling this. Why am I feeling this? What has triggered me feeling this? I need to take a minute to breathe and relax myself and catch myself and try to feel it, understand the feeling of it, and break down and put the logic into why this is being felt. But that's me asking too much of the world.
Wow. I just, this frame of emotional ignorance changes the whole game, because it makes me look at it and see the fear and there's so many things popping into my head now. So for example, when I see people who are
FEAR, I love that term.
Yeah, when I see people who, for example, are in the sort of blame kind of game, right? They want, who did this, da da da. I think a lot of times these people are just playing out patterns they probably internalized from childhood and different experiences and, parents and other things they've seen. And they haven't found healthy ways to process this stuff. Because like you said, you do feel, different emotions. Some emotions are difficult and potentially damaging. Like, let's say you've got a lot of anger. Like, anger's not necessarily unhealthy just inherently. Sometimes it's a positive force, right? It means something needs to change, so a lot of times. But if you have a lot of anger, and you're not processing it and you're not finding ways, and so it becomes almost like a chronic thing where you're just walking around angry all the time, that's not coming from a place of strength. And I think sometimes people in those emotions, they might think that's strong, or they might even feel strong, but it's really not, because it's a lack of control with it. It's such a reactive kind of irrational space. Like, you're not able to think when you're in that space. Your neocortex shuts down. You're in the emotional brain. Sorry, I'm kind of freewheeling a little bit, but my mind's just making all these connections now. And the thing I see is there's a lot of fear behind this stuff, man.
Yeah, because of emotional ignorance. All right, so let me use anger for you. Use anger. Now, imagine anger like a loaded gun. If you have a loaded gun and you feel the need to shoot this gun, where are you going to go to? You go to a shooting range.
I was going to say you go to a trigger, but okay.
You understand?
All right.
You go to a shooting range. Why shooting range? Because that's where you shoot guns. there, people who have shotguns more than you have will teach you how to do it properly. You don't go to a person who doesn't know how to shoot guns properly to learn how to shoot gun. You go to a shooting range, and someone who has shot guns before will teach you how to shoot guns. When you have lots of anger that you don't know how to control it, you go to someone who has learned how to control the anger, or who teaches anger management. They teach you how to shoot properly, which is basically, again, emotional intelligence. It's okay to feel angry, to be angry, but you want to direct the anger in this way. You want to point that gun in this way and fire it this way. That's how you do it. You don't ignore it, you don't hide it, you don't bottle it. Feel it, but understand that whenever you have this emotional trigger, you point it in this direction and go that way. That's the magic.
So let's say we've got some guys watching this now who have difficult emotions, have anger, have maybe other emotions that they're struggling with or challenged with. What advice would you give them in terms of finding their shooting range?
Find me. Talk to me in person. You know where I am. I'm not hard to find. Find me. Come to me. I'll give you a good consultation. Because here's the magic about it. Every single person, again, acts and reacts to every single emotion differently. So with emotions, it's actually never a one-size-fits-all scenario. It never is. As much as we think it is not. That's the easy way out. Oh yeah, everyone does this. No, no. Different degrees, different levels to it.
I hear what you're saying, because I do find it's finding your formula.
Yes.
So one person's going to be like, oh, the psychiatrist helped me with this. Another person's going to say, martial arts did this for me. Another person will say meditation fixed this. Do you know what I mean? It's very much
every single person
finding
has a
your own
different formula. And that's the thing. What works for Martin does not work for Mark. That's our reality. So if you need me, come to me. Simple as that. I'm not hard to find. I'm not hard to reach.
Just come to him. I've got enough problems as it is.
That's it. You know, that it's just that. Now, one of the easy ways to help with this emotional situation and to better or learn emotional intelligence is to, one, recognize your emotional triggers.
That's great advice right there.
It's simple as that. The first thing you want to do is you want to recognize your emotional triggers. Now, just imagine, let's say for the sake of it, I were on Instagram and I'm following lots of Instagram chicks.
I'm going to write that one down. Go on.
Dude, there's a lot more coming. So let's say I follow Instagram models, Insta models, right? And every time I look at these girls or these guys or whatever you want to call them, right? I feel triggered. I feel, say, obviously not me because, I'm Kevlar Kess. But just imagine someone who looks at these models, a woman looking at other women on Instagram, and they look extra, super. Or a young man looking at other male models on Instagram and they look ripped and all these things, right? That would actually emotionally trigger somebody. Because that little part of body dysmorphia kicks in, which is, you see someone, so I will starve myself for 3 weeks. No meat, no carbs, no this, no that, take some meat, but I'll take the juice, the juice. And then when they ask me, oh, how did you get so buff? Oh, chicken, broccoli, and rice. No, it's not, mate. It's stereos, chicken, broccoli, and rice. But I'll say that, and I'll look good on a photo shoot for a minute.
Stereos.
Oh, steroids.
Yeah, I thought that's what you meant.
Yeah, stereos. Steroid Cheerios. Breakfast. Yeah. So I'll take I'll go for a photo shoot I would look good, and I would obviously like take like 20 different clothes, same photo shoot, and then use for the whole year. I'm gonna be posting that picture up, down, left, right. Now,
then gorge myself on food.
there you go. Now, everyone else that sees those photos will think that's me all year round, because all year round I'm posting the photos. So your perception is that that's me all year round. So now you want to look like me like that all year round. I don't look like me all year round. If that makes sense.
It makes sense because I don't look like me at this time of the year.
But then that's the whole body dysmorphia thing, which part of the whole emotional situation. That's the trigger. So you look at that and you're like, oh no, I want to look like this person. So now you are now emotionally triggered. Your diet is changed. Your mindset is changed. This is an emotional trigger. So if that's a trigger of yours, the first thing you want to do is recognize that trigger, stop following those people. That's it. My thing is just don't go online. But if you feel the need to go on this, that, those ones that make you feel triggered, don't follow them. Recognize, because every one of us have our own emotional triggers. We just have that, you know. Mine is chicken burger. It's cool. Yeah. So
it's so random sometimes, man.
You know what I say? Oh, how to ask girls, oh, would you fight your best friend for $1 million, £1 million? No, I wouldn't. I would love her. Bro, I would kick your ass for half a chicken burger. Fuck you talking about? It's my chicken burger. The fight to death. Well, you know what I'm talking about.
I had the most amazing chicken burger a couple of years ago.
See, that's how fight starts.
I'm like reminiscing now.
That's how fight to start.
You would fight someone for this chicken burger, I swear. Like,
it was so therefore, when I said it, you believe me. Thank you. You're welcome. So that's the point of it. So recognize your triggers. Recognize your emotional triggers. Any questions, sir? Any additions to this?
I think that's really, really good. That's really, really good advice and really simple. I'll add to that from my own experience, there used to be things that triggered me in my feed. I remember a couple of years back, there was a period of time where I was following just some accounts that would post news or post stuff that would really, it would trigger like feelings of like anger, sometimes sadness. Like, you know, when I guess it's still happening now, but at one point there was a lot of news around people being killed by police, black people.
BLM.
Yeah, and I had a few accounts like that I was following, and I would literally see people getting shot.
Yes.
Literal videos of people getting shot on camera, and it was traumatic stuff to watch. But I felt like I need to stay in the loop. I need to, not bury my head in the sand. But at a certain point, I was like, no, that's triggering.
I like that.
That's triggering some really negative emotion in me. So I eventually removed it from my feed. And it was like, oh, I feel much better.
Example. So you see, lately there's been a lot of trailers out there with this Emmett Till situation.
Mate. When I saw they were making that film, I was like,
right.
More
now, here's what it is. Because, again, the algorithm sends people these trailers. Because I'm a black person, I get the trailer on my phone automatically. Here you go, black person. Look, another emotional trigger. I have never seen 6 seconds of the trailer.
I'm not watching
so
that trailer.
Emmett Till, skip.
I'm not watching that
skip.
movie. Yeah, I'm saying.
Skip, don't care.
Not doing it.
Because once you watch that, you're not gonna fall into that whole routine of, oh no, this is gonna anger me, therefore I'm gonna watch that and get mad at everybody. Why? You choose that path. You recognize the triggers, don't go there. Simple as that. If I follow a page online, whatever it is, I don't know, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is, LinkedIn, if I follow someone or something online and it has a not so positive effect on my psyche, I'm going to unfollow you. It's just as simple as that. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm not following you because you did this. No, it's a me thing. No, we're good. Because I want to go to bed at night, up in the morning, like, we're good. Simple as that, right? I'll give you another one. You see, you said to me earlier about, oh, you did this, you made me. Thank you. I said, remember that one. Now here's the magic. turn your you sentences into I sentences.
That's accurate. Ooh, when it connects to the responsibility, you're good.
I'm not good, I'm the best. Different.
Oh, God.
I'm the best. Yeah, I'm cocky as shit. I've earned it. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm very cocky. I'm proudly arrogant. I tell everyone, like, listen, I'm diet Kanye West, as in Kanye West without the sugar, without the crazy. Arrogant.
That is
Well
genius.
deserved.
I made me.
There you go.
Look what I made me do.
Look what I did. That's on me. That's a me problem. And I say this all the time. People go, oh yeah, this. No, that's a you problem. I did this, that's a me problem. That's on me. I did it. So most situations with being one or two people, one way to help with your emotional intelligence is to turn your you into I. Because it's easier for us to just throw blame on other people when in the first place I was responsible for myself taking my black ass to that spot in the first place. As simple as that. Oh, what would you do if a snake bit you? Okay. Why am I near a snake in the first place? You see that? Exactly. When did I think, snake must be in this postcode, and I went to the postcode? Oh, if you saw a lion right now, what would you do? Stop. How am I, in my intelligence, going near lion at my age?
Houseway.
It's true.
It's very true.
Grown ass man, white hair and everything.
That's
I'm gonna find lion.
That's why when people get like attacked by lions and shit like that, I always laugh my ass off because it's always someone just being too fast, man. Like, why are you in the lion's cage, or why are you taking photos of the
man
lion?
attacked by lion? I go, okay, so let's dig deeper. Was he at home in the showers? No.
It's this lion let loose in the metropolis.
In the metropolis of Gotham. No.
It's never that.
Was he watching EastEnders at home? Doors locked, lion broke in? No.
It's never that.
Okay. Did his neighbor have lion? No. Okay, wait.
Does his neighbor have lion?
No. Okay, so I need to know because I need answers. So, did this adult who has Oyster card, driving license,
Stop it,
afford to buy clothes and shoes, afford smartphone, hence the word smartphone, not phone, smartphone, carry their 2-leg to the zoo or to the bush, to the African jungle to go and find lion? In the brochure, they said health and safety. If you pass here like this, there's lion there. And they went to go and see lion. You enter the lion's postcode, bruv.
There was a guy that actually did that once back in the day. I remember he climbed into the lion's cage.
I've seen it.
I think he had a Bible and he was trying to like
Preach to the lion. Hey! Daniel in the lion's den. Bible. It's in the Bible actually. Daniel lion's den.
Yeah, absolutely. He must have thought he was Daniel for true. Maybe his name was Daniel.
Maybe, maybe. So be careful you name your kids, Call my son Noah. My man's out building boats. So where you going, bro? His dad, you called me Noah. Okay.
Oh man.
Okay. God spoke to me. Thank you. Cool. You understand? It's just that is the dynamic of everything. It's so simple. It's like, well, yeah. Simple as that. Simple as black.
Emotional intelligence.
Yeah. Turn your you into I. When you turn your you into I, you realize you stop throwing the, hey, you did this. You start to look into yourself and become more accountable and responsible for your actions. You do that, that makes you a lot more powerful than you can actually imagine. So I'm not gonna go, oh, it's your fault that this happened. No, bro. I went there. Oh, this person got attacked at 2 a.m. outside this nightclub. Who took you there?
You know, the interesting thing about that is, with these instances of people getting triggered and flipping out at me, because I do take responsibility for my actions and even the things I create and attract. That's one of the things that's been on my mind, is like, why am I attracting this? Because I'm the common denominator of all of these things.
You are.
And so I'm thinking, but I wasn't rude, or I wasn't aggressive, or I wasn't disrespectful, like, in these instances. And so that was the thing I was trying to wrap my head around. But there's, you know, it's interesting. I can remember meeting a mentor once, many years ago, and I remember I came to see him, and he was going to do some training with like a corporate company. So we were meeting up, and I was going to shadow him and watch him do his work, right? And so he was in the zone, because he's like game face. He's going to go in there. He's going to be under pressure. He's going to be dealing with a lot of, you know, high-powered people. So he was really locked in. And so I come to meet him, and I remember walking in, and his energy was so calm and centered,
Yes.
that it made me feel like really self-conscious. Like, I walked in, and I could feel like this, almost like a heat haze off him. I was like, what is this? It was like, yeah, this kind of Buddhist monk kind of just zen. And then we sat and we spoke, and he explained to me that he wakes up, he meditates for 30 minutes, and then he trains, and he's been doing that for over a decade. So he's built up this reservoir of stillness and calm. And I wonder if, because I do have a lot of people talk about how my energy is calming, you know, I've been wondering if like that is unsettling people at times. Because I know sometimes it does. People have said that to me. They're just like, why are you so quiet? Or like, what's going on? Like, sometimes people are unable to read me, or I think it reflects back to them their lack of ease.
Yes. It's a scary. Okay. For people, human beings, it's a scary thing, especially in the city life, that everyone's always in motion. Everyone's always moving. When you as a person are immobile, you are calm, you're not running around, you are actually you have your center, it's very unnerving, it's very scary, it's very unnatural for the runner. It's very unnatural. It's like, oh, why are you staying still? It's unnatural, and it's scary. It's just like, so it's scary because the ultimate goal for every city person is to finally become still. That's the ultimate goal. It's like, okay, I want to make so much money, I want to get so rich that I stop running around. That's the goal. Does that make sense? So when I make my 20 billion pounds, I will stop running around. When I make my 30 billion pounds, I'm going to be still, thinking that material wealth is emotional intelligence. It's why I hear things like, oh, this person is a very successful person but has anger issues. Because people, they are physically successful, but they are emotionally ignorant. Because that's the mindset of comparing material wealth to, oh, once I'm rich, I'm going to be balanced emotionally. It's not the case, mate.
It's really not.
It's not. So when they find a balance in you that's not material, that's scary. Because it's like, how dare you unlock this achievement without teaching me how to do it? I've been trying all my life to do it, and you make it look so easy.
You're an example of what I am not and what I don't have.
Like I said about 10 minutes
and
ago.
It's not conscious, I think, a lot of times with this stuff.
It's unconscious. People just for
something
no
about
reason
you I just don't like.
How dare you be so smooth? Why are you so calm?
I get that all the time, like, and I'm like, I don't even, like, I've just walked into the room. Why are you coming in there all so smooth? What?
Well, this is why your automatic response should be, don't jealous me. Solves it for you. Easy. Because it's an inappropriate but appropriate response. I didn't see it coming, but okay, you good. Don't jealous me. You are who you are. Embrace it. Embrace the funk. But here's the magic about it. That level of cocky and arrogance is necessary.
Yeah.
It's
No,
absolutely.
you're right. Otherwise, you're gonna like apologize for yourself or retreat or change or some other bullshit.
It's not just for yourself; it's for others. Because every time you have self-confidence and self-assurance, people who are underneath you, the younger ones underneath you, they are learning from you. They are learning because, best believe you me, a lot of people in the world today are walking around no confidence, no guts, no glory, nothing. But when they see someone that looks like them in their own confidence, they go, wow, if he can do it, so can I. So whether you know it or not, you are a prime example of a role model. You don't know it, but there's someone out there that looks at you and goes, you know what? I like the way he does this. I want to strive to be like that or do like that in my own image. Whether you know it or not, there's someone out there that you constantly inspire. That's why we do what we do. That's one of the reasons I'm very, very cocky and arrogant. I'm just like, nah, I'm gonna do me. Because there's someone out there that has walked around all his life with his head down, but when he saw me being me and doing me, I gave him confidence. There's someone out there, head down all the time. When she saw me being me, doing me, I gave her confidence. I'm good with that. Doesn't matter what anybody else in the world says or does, fuck you sideways. I'm good with that.
Okay.
As simple as that. Another thing to help you with your emotional intelligence is to breathe. That's it. Just breathe. Take time out and breathe. You don't need to respond now. You don't need to respond immediately. Then it's, I have to. No. You breathe. I get it. I understand that reason is because of unconscious training. Example, like how we automatically go emotional intelligence, opposite is emotional stupidity, right? It's like me saying, it's like me asking somebody, what's the opposite of love? You say hate. Because you've been trained that love and hate is no, love is hate. Hate is love. The opposite of love is not actually
indifference.
Hate. It's indifference. The opposite of love.
I didn't see that before, but I get it now.
Is indifference. Because whether you love somebody or you hate somebody,
still giving them energy.
You are still giving them an emotion.
Yeah.
Whether it's a negative emotion or positive emotion, it's an emotion, right? Indifference is the absence of emotion. When the emotion is taken away, that's the opposite of love. When you are indifferent about a situation, that's it. That's the answer right there.
And I find it's so interesting because, all right, let's say someone gives you anger. You give them anger back, that will escalate, right? And yet, I also find if I give them indifference, sometimes that triggers them as well.
Yeah.
Because they're not getting the validation. It's like they're not getting the validation.
The expected result.
Yeah.
So they now double down on it. How dare you not respond to me? Double down. That's what it is. It's emotional instability, ignorance, all that stuff.
Self-control, man. Self-control.
So when you sit back and you look at a situation and you actually breathe, just breathe, relax. Take 5 deep breaths. Breathe. You're good. Because that response is something else. You want to respond immediately, dude. But why? But why? Why is there a necessity to do that? When you don't respond immediately, you actually get more answers. I like saying this. When people are in that situation, let them finish. Let them finish. Don't worry, it's fine. Just talk. Let them finish. Also, show empathy. Empathy. My kind of empathy is like, okay, I understand you're feeling this way, right? But I don't understand what you mean about this. Would you kindly elaborate on that, please? Or could you just imagine I don't understand the situation. Please explain to me more. That's it. So when there's more explanation, logic starts coming together. When logic comes in, you start to go, oh, I felt this way because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Small things. It's always small things. It's so easy. It's actually so easy. But the first thing you have to do is just breathe. You stand back, you breathe, you catch your breath, relax. Okay, what's happening? You break down the situation. Okay, cool. What's going on? Okay, cool. Because what we don't seem to realize is that sometimes people need your emotional strength to see their emotional strength.
It can be challenging in the heat of the moment.
It is challenging. It's hard.
It can be really challenging.
But this is life. Everything you do is hard. This is life. Everything you do is hard. You know? And I keep saying this all the time. Being rich is hard. Being broke is hard. Choose your hard. You know? Being slim is hard. Being fat is hard. Choose your hard. There is no in between. Choose your hard. People don't get that. Everyone thinks that, this part, no, it's hard. Being jobless is hard. Working 80 hours a week is hard. Choose your hard. Real. You know, it's just what it is.
Bars. Fire in the booth. I was online the other day and I scrolled past a story of a kid in the States in Alabama who was in a car with his friend. He pulled up next to another car. He hollers at this girl driving the car, and she's not. I don't know what she said to him. I didn't get the dialogue of the conversation, but apparently she rejected him, and he shot her, killed her, and the guy that was in the car with her passenger, then shot the passenger of his car, and they are now him and his friend are facing murder charges. He was at university. He was like a star athlete, and that's not the first time I've heard of something like that in the past week. So yeah, again, it's another reason I wanted to have this conversation, because it's this emotional knee-jerk reaction rather than taking the time to stop, breathe, because that's the difference now. Like I'm quite a fiery person, and so there was a time when I would just fly off the handle, but now my mind's different. Now my mind's like, okay, if I do if I do this, what are the potential consequences? And not only that, I know that if I do get angry and let that anger, because as you've once said, there's a difference between acting with emotion and acting from emotion.
Yes.
And sometimes it's necessary to act with emotion so that you can convey the gravity of what it is you're communicating, right?
Yes.
Sometimes people don't get it if you say it calmly. So I get that. However, I find that if I if I let that anger or let the emotion guide what I'm doing, afterwards I just feel dirty. Like I can feel that it was a moment of weakness and a loss of control.
But was it necessary? Is the question.
Yeah, that is the question.
There you go. I have done many a thing in my time that, not regrettably, many things in my time where I didn't like it, but I needed to get that done. So I tell everybody, I'm not a nice person. I'm not a mean person. I'm a necessary person. It's very important to understand the difference. I'm not a nice person. I'm not a mean person. I'm a necessary person. As simple as this. If you're good to me, I'll be good to you. If you're not good to me, I will not be good to you. As simple as that. Also meaning, if you ever see me on the street kicking someone's ass, they deserved it. Simple as that. If I see someone on the street and I hug them, they deserve it. If you see me whooping ass for no reason, I have a reason. They deserved it. I am necessary. I'm good to the good, I'm mean to the mean. Simple as that. That's why I always treat everybody with respect when I first meet them. I'm polite, I'm humble, I'm kind, I'm nice to everybody, but I have a plan to kill everyone in the room. Let that sink in.
As in, just in case it's necessary for you to do that.
There you go. See how it goes.
He's a necessary person.
Simple as that. And there's nothing wrong with being the best you can possibly be, but that's how you are the best person.
Why would you possibly need to kill everyone in the room? I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
That's fine. That's what it is. It's a basic training. It's a have it, need it, have it. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. It's better to learn how to be a badass and learn the ability to actually demolish and hurt a person so that you don't need it than you be in a situation and you need it. For example, it is important for you to learn how to cause great violence, but at the same time end it with your looks. You don't have that look until you've learned great violence. Say it again. You don't have that look to end great violence until you've actually learned great violence. You can't mean mug someone until you know how to mess them up with your thought. And I mean really mess them up. Just by thinking it, they can smell it in the air. His chakra is off. His energy is about to go in. Yeah, nah. He's the one. That's exactly what that means. And it's always the ones who don't have it, who don't know how to do it, who are constantly out there trying to prove themselves that, oh no, I can do it. The ones who can do it, it's like they're cool. They're cool. They don't go out there showing they can do it. They can do it. Whatever. It's not right now. It's not necessary. It's not what's to be done.
Wow.
It is what it is.
That reminds me of Miyamoto Musashi, Book of Five Rings.
Yeah.
He talks about at a certain point in your training, you'll be able to defeat a man with your eyes.
Absolutely. That's necessary. Not every battle is a physical battle. It's there. Just you look and you're good. Yeah. Also, one way to help you with your emotional intelligence is knowing not to be loud when everyone is being loud. I'm not saying don't be loud. I say when everyone is being loud, don't be loud. There's a lot of loud going on. Because what happens when people are being triggered, this one shouting, that one shouting, this one shouting, and it's just push. When someone is shouting at you, you give them that look. That, are you done? Are you finished? Are you done? So why are you shouting? Why are you shouting? Oh, I didn't mean to. Well, there are many ways to handle it when someone is like raising their voice at you. There are many ways to handle that. I have many ways to handle that. Many ways. One, just ask them why they did that. Or two, you put it down and say, listen, don't do that again. Simple. There's the calm, passive way, and then there's the direct way. Don't do that again. It's not a threat, but don't do that again. Because if you say, don't do that again, if you do that again, I will do this to you, you're not serious. Just don't do that again. Let them guess what happens next. And when they do that again, then you make your decision. They know what it is. Because most times they are in these conversations, you are doing this with adults. So they have a certain level of understanding of life. You should not. You can, you cannot. You will or you will not. Small things. That's it. That's my say. So I can give you more, but I don't want to overload the brain.
That was fire. That was fire.
Yeah. It's very important in the world today to understand that and have that level of emotional intelligence. That is key. I'm glad you want to talk about that. It's very important. The you and I thing is crazy. I think getting through the years has made me a more emotionally intelligent person, because the person I was 7 years ago is not the person I am today. And it's beautiful. The person I was 5 years ago is not. Every day I'm learning something new. Every day I'm seeing and doing things, and this is one of the reasons why I say slow down, or find your calm and be quiet, or breathe. Is basically when you start to slow down and look within and take you time, you start to see every other person in a clearer way. You see basically the glamour comes off.
The mask starts slipping.
The glamour comes off. The glam comes off. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
It is beautiful how your internal awareness and wisdom becomes just this universal thing, because it's similar to how you're saying, once you have your plan, you start to see other people's plans. It's
yes.
Like once you can see yourself on deeper layers, and you start to see your own unconscious things, and
there you go.
Whatever, you start to notice other people's as well. See their patterns, see their habits.
And this is the thing: the universe will not cheat you. The universe is not going to cheat you. It's not going to play something new to you. It's going to give you you. What you give out to it, it will give to you. It's going to give you you. Again, like I said to you earlier, this emotional intelligence has always been there. You were not aware that a lot of people are emotionally ignorant until you started to find your own emotional intelligence, until you realize, oh, I got this. Once you started seeing you have it, you started seeing the cracks in the wall. That's it. It's always been there. It will always be there. But because we just learned it today, we now assume that it started today. It's like you hear like a lot of modern songs today, and everyone's like, oh, this is a good song. And then me and you were like, yeah, but that came out like 40 years ago. This guy did it 30 years ago. This guy did it 20 years ago. But because it's their first time hearing that song, it registers as, oh, it's my first time doing this. So yeah, just leave it to it. Just leave it to it.
I find when I it's kind of a segue, but I find when I meet someone who has emotional intelligence, it's just such a breath of fresh air, man. Like, do you know when you're communicating with someone and let's say maybe they get emotional about something, but then they acknowledge it and they recognize it, they take responsibility for it, and they can talk about it and own it. You have to be secure in yourself to do that, is what I realize. You have to be secure enough in yourself to be able to see these things and acknowledge them and own them, you know, without blaming and without making excuses and all this other stuff. And yeah, I just find dealing with people who have that emotional intelligence is just a joy.
The first step is accountability and responsibility, which is what turning the you to I.
Yeah. Do you know, I know a coach / therapist, and he pulled me on that because we were talking at one point, and I said, you know when you and he said, no, don't do that. I said, what? He said, don't say you, it's got nothing to do with me, mate. You're talking about yourself.
There you go.
And you would stop me from youing.
Yes.
And I realized how I unconsciously use it
yes
to separate myself
from the situation.
So I was saying, you know when you're doing blah blah blah,
you are exemplifying.
It makes it
removing yourself from the situation.
It makes it more comfortable to talk about it when you say, you know when you. But
it's like that asking for a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. What's that girl's number?
Yeah, one of my friends. Yeah,
asking
he's got an
friend.
issue with. Yeah. Once you put I in there, it changes the game.
He's like, yeah, you own it.
I challenge you, people watching, play with that. Catch yourself when you're youing.
I like that self. Catch yourself
youing and turn that into an I. It's a different feel.
I think
that's something for me to remember. Actually.
Intelligence also comes from discipline, emotional discipline, physical discipline, just discipline in general.
Yes.
And now when I say discipline, everyone you have to do Lent. You have to go through your Lent period. Lent, or your, not fasting, Lent. Your Lent period basically is you deciding to do 1, 2, 3 or not to do 1, 2, 3. Simple as that. So I don't know about this whole dry January thing. Example just like that. So let me give you an example for myself. No drinking. I don't drink, obviously. No drinking, no smoking, no drugs, no prom.
No, you mean porn?
Yeah, being nice on you. No prom.
We can't say porn anymore.
You can't, mate. No prom. Wow. No, or corn. Call it corn.
No corn.
No corn.
No filth, flood, and filth.
No filth and filth. No self-love. You know.
Self-love. I like
self-love.
That
yeah.
I use that one.
You know, 5-finger discount. You know, handyman.
5-finger discount.
None of that. You know, it's simple.
No DIY.
No DIY. Just focus on what needs to be done. That's it. Keep your mind on the game, mind on the task. Go. So you set yourself a goal to go. Okay, I'm doing it for this long. This long. Or you make your lifestyle. That's up to you. I go lifestyle. Because everyone else goes, okay, I'll do this for 3 months. You now do that for 3 months, and on month 4, you're like, you just go, you literally go
Watch
nuts.
all the corn,
all the names. Write them down on your holodecks from A to Z. Hohaho, Vallejo. You just from A to Z, all the names. Everyone else, nah, none of that. Make it a lifestyle. But you do that, I like this one most. You measure your food. I got you. One of the best ways for masculine discipline is food discipline.
Jeff Thompson told me that.
There are two things that men do that are a necessity: eating and fucking. Women will never understand it.
This is one of the reasons some of these cats are so stressed out, you know.
Women will never understand it.
Getting enough of that.
Eating and fucking. You want to control your sexual discipline, control your stomach discipline. Understanding those ones, you now understand your emotional triggers for sexual discipline, which is if you have corn on your phone all the time, you are going to be sexually indisciplined. You're going to want to watch corn, which basically means you want to get some, which means you're going to have your self-love. So that's your sexual indiscipline. When you basically go, okay, you know what, I'm going to, simple, what time is breakfast? Breakfast is 7 o'clock. Okay, good. Make it 8 o'clock. Okay. Now, you're now going, at 8 o'clock, you now realize, you know what, I'm not even hungry. What time, and then 8:30, 9 o'clock, you push. Because most of these things are actually emotional triggers. You've been trained to eat every hour on the hour. All the time. Eat, snack. You look left, you look right. It's going to be food advertised somewhere there. Food there, food here. So you're looking everywhere and you're constantly seeing food adverts. You are being trained to go, you're hungry. You're not hungry. You're being told you're hungry. Don't cook, just eat. So once you say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to eat till about, say, 12 o'clock, you're fine. You've got that discipline going on. And then you go, okay, I'm not going to eat till 2 o'clock. You're basically pushing your limits and seeing how much more you can refrain from an urge. Once you've controlled that urge, other urges no longer seem urgent.
I can definitely confirm that when it comes to the corn.
What's funny about corn is that it's addictive. Here's how it's addictive. You're going to watch corn so much and get to a level where you realize that, hold on, they're doing the same thing over and over again. It now gets boring. You now want more.
Yeah. Or you need more extreme corn.
You want more. Let's say more. You want more as in something depraved.
Yeah, because
something different.
Because it's not triggering the same level.
It's not
of
triggering.
Dopamine.
Exactly. Dopamine and endorphin release has now been reduced. You now want a stronger hit.
Yeah.
Because you've now been desensitized by it. You're now looking for a stronger hit. Oh, how can I get a higher fix? A stronger hit. Now, that's a stronger hit now. After a while, you want more. You want more because you cannot control your urge for the dopamine fix. When you control your stomach, you control your brain. You need water more than you need food. You need to connect with the other person more than you need to have sex. Humans don't get that. Men don't get that. And women don't understand why men think that way. They don't get that. I was having this convo with one of the guys a week ago. Because a lady said, I was with the group, and a lady said, oh, men only want sex. I said, no, you're wrong. So what do you mean? Here's what. Men who don't have a mission or a purpose only want sex. Every man on a mission, a purpose, or a drive, sex is the last thing on their mind. They have something to do that's more important. When men don't have purpose, mission, drive, all they want is sex. All the guys who are chasing tail consistently, they haven't got a plan. They've not got a 5-year plan. They're not working towards a 10-year goal. They're not. I said, oh yeah, exactly. And what you're doing here, she was now comparing her 18-year-old boyfriend to a 30-year-old man. It's not the same. It's not the same mindset. At 17, he didn't know anything. Even at 30, he knows less, but he knows more than at 17. It's different. Different world. Again, every 5 years you're a different person. Different world, brother. Different world. So I urge a lot of gentlemen to have emotional discipline. Because that actually helps with the emotional intelligence. Because all it does is it actually makes you step back a bit, breathe, and go, hold up. Do I need to get that done now? So you get used to actually taking your time to do things instead of being impulsive. That's it.
Controlling your sexual energy is like a superpower, man.
It is. But how do you control that sexual urge when you are constantly feeding your bloodstream with sugars and caffeine and food, when you're having a lot of calorie intake? So there needs to be a calorie deficiency for your body to start to actually feed on the stored fat. Remember what I said about the TRI?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about time restricted eating. Your body needs to understand, okay, hold on. That hunger I'm feeling, am I actually hungry? Or am I just thinking of hunger because of this? What am I actually feeling right now? Again, back to the beginning. Don't ignore the feeling. Take your time, understand the feeling. Most times you think you're hungry, you're just thirsty. Because it's the same orifice that is going in, so your brain goes,
oh, hydration out of that food.
There you go. Your brain goes, oh, you must be hungry because you're eating this, therefore you're hungry. You're not. You're just thirsty. Oh, yeah.
When I did a 24-hour water fast.
24 hours?
Yeah, I did a 24-hour water fast where I just drank water for 24 hours, and it was really fascinating how often I unconsciously was gonna eat something. Especially because while I was doing it, there was a bowl of fruit on the living room table, and I kept catching myself like either reaching for it or mentally like, oh, let me get something, and I'll just kind of go, we're not doing that. And it was so many times this happened in the 24-hour period. It really surprised me because it made me realize how often it's not really about hunger. It's just like, it's almost like the way people would just check their phones automatically now. Like, let's say someone has a few minutes, they're at a shop, they're in a queue in the shop, right? Phone comes out. They don't necessarily need to look at anything on the phone.
No.
It's
not
like
normalized.
a reflex.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
A lot of our eating, well, let's not say hour. See, I'm doing the U now. I'm doing the hour. A lot of my eating, wow, that really does change the game. It's unconscious.
It's unconscious.
Becoming more conscious is challenging. Oh my goodness!
Beautiful.
I'm gonna really work on not doing the U or the hour or the we thing.
I'm on the queue in the shop and I see the same thing. The queue moves forward and I stop. Everyone just goes forward.
It's too much, man.
And people get so ingrained in their phones where they forget that the queue has moved. I'm like, hey buddy, it's moved.
Bro, I see people crossing the road on their phone.
I always go, bah!
Yeah, good.
Honk.
No, it's good. You could save that person's life.
I need to, because if I don't honk at them, they will keep
become a
doing
habit.
that, and someone will hit them.
Yes.
So if I shock them and they go, oh snap, I'm being stupid.
Make the connection. Yeah, that's why I say this. You're probably saving some lives out here.
Oh, I know. Again, necessary. Not nice, not mean, necessary. Every action I take is a necessity. No one gets it because they don't know what it is to be responsible for others. When you become that person, feelings don't count anymore. You do what needs to be done. That's the magic. As simple as that. You do what needs to be done, what has to be done. That's it.
A few things that have helped me in terms of developing emotional intelligence. One is combat sports like boxing, martial arts, because you are facing situations which trigger different emotions in real time, and you're learning that not managing your emotions comes at a cost.
Yes.
You know, that's not the place to get angry.
No.
When you're fighting, it's really not helpful at all. And the other one I would say is meditation. And a lot of people make meditation more complex than it needs to be. I think of it as quiet sitting, you know, just kind of observing, and but it gives you a space between an event happens, and then you have the internal sort of emotional reaction, and then potentially you have the action you take based on that. It creates more of a gap between those two things, because I find with a lot of people there's no gap between the emotional reaction and the actual action. Like the two things are so close together, it's almost like they're one.
Yes.
So a lot of times they don't even notice there's a difference. They just like, I have this anger, you're the trigger for the anger, you caused the anger. With meditating, it starts to extend that gap, so that when the situation happens, you feel the emotion, but it's more like there's a space between you and it. I'm starting to use, I'm enjoying using physical objects to explain stuff now. So it's like, if you don't have that gap, you and the emotion are just almost one. But once you have that space and that time, it's like you're able to see it. It comes up, you feel it, and then you have the choice of what to do.
Yes.
And I find that with meditation, over time, the gap between, because it used to be at first I'll just be like straight to the emotion, but it's like that time and that gap extends and extends and extends, and you have more time to.
Isn't that the acting with and acting from emotion?
Yeah, this is acting from. This is acting with.
Absolutely.
If you act,
exactly. Well, that was good. That was great.
Yeah, I enjoyed that, man. Thank you very much, sir. Excellent work. You dropped some gems.
Always do.
I'll be watching this podcast myself.
We always do. Gems all day. All day, every day. I try to give my jest every once in a while. Stupid.
Give you what?
My gems. You're emotionally stupid.
You're emotionally.
You're an idiot at your age. Look at you. Your mate is nursery and you're sucking breast. 2 years old. You can't. Emotional. But yeah, it's been awesome. It's been good. I realized that's the first I said.
Just then?
I don't do ums and ahs.
Hopefully it's not my influence.
It's easy. I'm very, very conscious of that. When I do public speaking, you would not hear me go, I don't do that. Someone else does, I don't do that. I pause for effect.
It's powerful.
Very powerful.
They literally train you to eliminate filler words like ums and ahs.
Simple as that. All right, team. It has been emotional. If you need me, you know how to reach me. Other than that, I've been Kevin Lakes. It's been Dr. Love. Peace.